we have to, when we have to think of what we come on the planet with, in a sense, our toolkit, functionally our neurophysiology, our nervous system, and especially in polyvagal theory, the neuroregulation of our visceral organs through the autonomic nervous system. And this is really organs in the body and a brain structure in the brainstem regulating those organs. So polyvagal theory is functionally a brain-body science. And it really emphasizes the bidirectionality of information from the organs to the brainstem and from the brainstem to the organs. And so you don't have any separation of mind or brain function from bodily organ function. So within the world, of course, of psychiatry, people talk about comorbidities. Polyvagal theory says they're merely expressions of the same system in different ways. And you often find disorders in the gut, like irritable bowel syndrome, being comorbid with trauma. You often see also gastric and GI problems with anxiety disorders. And we tend not to understand that we're talking about a physiological system that has reacted to threat. And that reaction is predictable. So polyvagal theory really emphasizes and describes the evolutionary journey that an asocial reptilian species transitioned into social mammals. So how did this occur? Well, it occurred with changes in how the autonomic nervous system was regulated, because social mammals had to turn off threat responses, and they had to do that rapidly. So they had to be able to detect cues of safety. And those cues of safety were adaptive and reflexively downregulated our defenses. So just visualize a mother talking to her baby or singing or using a hyper-prosodic voice with intonation versus someone saying the same words, but now in a monotone. Our bodies respond very differently. And in a sense, we have the template for what are cues of safety, and modulation of voice is one of those. Facial expressivity is another. Gesture. They're part of a system that was this social engagement system, which was the neuroregulation of the striated muscles of the face and head. But that system in mammals became connected in the brainstem with a uniquely mammalian vagal pathway to the heart, which basically downregulated threat and sent signals to the subdiaphragmatic areas of our body: do your job, don't react to the threat. So when our bodies go into states of threat, we're not getting the signal to the lower part of our body saying, do your job. So enteric system is a big flag. But the real issue, if we want to really strip it away, there are two things I would like you to take away from this. One is, through evolution, social behavior or interaction with another is functionally elevated to a neuromodulator. So it's literally a neural stimulation. It's not social behavior. Aha, that's fine. Don't waste my time. We're dealing with hard science or neurophysiology. But in mammals, social behavior is a neuromodulator. It's elevated. There's this interaction in the body between social behavior and physiological regulation. It shifts states. That's the first thing to take away, and in a sense, get a grip onto, because it's so powerful. It means that social interaction or social prescribing, which is now words that are used in psychiatry, is really a powerful neural stimulation metaphor. And it's a neural stimulation to turn off threat systems and to optimize systems of homeostasis. So it's homeostasis in the mental world, and homeostasis in the organ world. So they're intertwined. So that's, in a sense, to understand that evolutionary trajectory, that we have this toolkit that detects threat and shifts our physiology, and we detect safety, which is the gift. We detect safety, and that turns off our threat. And so we start to recognize that physiological state that we're in is this intervening variable, powerful concept. It's in between the external world that we're responding to and our own responses. Based on that physiological state, your responses will be biased towards being defensive or being welcoming and accessible. And if we, in a sense, ask people how they feel, and they had a language to describe feelings, you'd find out that for many people, much of their life is all about suppressing feelings, becoming numb to their body. And from a neurophysiological model, that's turning off your feedback loops. And guess what? What you see in the medical metaphors of this, or manifestations, you see the feedback loops are malfunctioning, and you see that's when you see disease being expressed. So I'm sorry, I kind of rambled on for a while, but the emphasis is really sociality is a neuromodulator. Our physiological state is the intervening variable between what's going on in the world and our reactions, but our physiological state becomes a portal of intervention to change the biases.